I understand you're exhausted. I understand you're shattered. And it seems like you cannot endure any longer, that you have reached the limit of yourself. But all of this signifies one thing in this precise moment. You still possess your purpose.
The explanation for why you return to slumber is because you've consistently returned to slumber. It's like an automatic setting. All you need to do is cease going to slumber, and then you will cease going to slumber. All you need to do is cease complaining and cursing, and you will cease complaining and cursing. No, what you don't desire to do is the hustle. But you're awake. It's going to be a fierce battle. And so if you're prepared to surrender, then don't commence. If you're prepared to surrender, don't commence. The sole method I fail is if I surrender. But if you're prepared to declare, I'm not going to surrender, I promise you whatever achievement you desire to attain, you're going to attain it. Occasionally, you don't desire to visit the fitness center. Obviously, no. But I attend because I have an agreement with myself. The most critical thing is to maintain a schedule consistency, not fixation. Look, everyone desires to be accomplished. Everyone desires to scale peaks. Everyone desires to be acknowledged and honored. But nobody desires to make sacrifices. Nobody desires to invest the effort. Nobody desires to release every single interruption. Here is my inquiry. Can you discover how to refuse what's damaging you? Refuse what's blocking you. Refuse what's obstructing you. Refuse the individuals that don't support you. Occasionally, you must transform the location where you exist. Occasionally, you must transform the individuals that you're associating with. Occasionally, you've got to determine, I require some connections that will elevate me. I require some connections that will motivate me. I require some connections that I can absorb from and develop from intellectually and emotionally and spiritually and economically. Where I exist right now, this is no network of strength. This is a prison. What if, when it became difficult, instead of halting and surrendering, you clench your teeth, you lower your head, and you continued advancing? If you desire the remainder of the year to be the finest of your year, then you are going to need to take 30 days and vanish. Amaze the world. My greatest attributes is commitment and relentless effort. To accomplish this type of achievements, you must labor intensely. And you understand we all possess ability, but ability without the labor, it's worthless. But I believe my primary power, it's my intellect. Is it achievable as a human creature to transform your endpoint 5 years from today? And the response is absolutely. Look, that is so remarkable. No other living form can accomplish that. Select a different endpoint in 5 years and begin creating strategies and acquire the abilities and embrace the practices and the instruction and the preparation and the reliability of attempt and simply begin moving in a fresh direction, and in 5 years from today, conclude at a completely different location than where it was predicted you were going to reach with the previous strategies. Only human creatures possess this remarkable capacity to transform the result, to select a fresh direction and proceed that way, to select a more definite location, to reach and study the materials and participate in the sessions and cultivate the practices and locate the individuals and conduct the enterprise that transports you to that fresh endpoint. At some moment in existence, you need to declare to yourself sufficient is sufficient. And understand me, you merit superior. Who and what possesses your focus, because where concentration travels, power travels. The difficulty is you invest excessive power into streaming services. You invest excessive power into interruptions. You invest excessive power into amusement. You invest excessive power into matters that are not nourishing your mission and fate. Can you depart from everything? Envision who you could transform into in 30 days. There's no abbreviated path, no trick. There is no alternative method around it. If achievement is what you're pursuing in this existence, genuine heritage-level achievement, you must unapologetically be consumed with the procedure. So what you need to determine is, are you going to continue being the 99%, or are you prepared to be a component of the 1%? Because it doesn't create a difference where you originate from secondary education departure. It doesn't create a difference where you originate from equivalency certificate. It doesn't create a difference where you originate from resting in deserted structures. It doesn't create a difference where you originate from. You understand what creates a difference? What creates a difference is when you transform into a 99% or a 1%. It's on you and it's on me. Who are you? Affirmative. Who are you? Where are you traveling? I desire you to contemplate that. And wherever you're traveling, I desire you to visualize it in your mind's vision. Finalize it. Visualize it. Visualize it. Where are you in your existence? When you observe in the reflection, do you observe the individual you believed you would be at this stage in your existence? This existence that you're pursuing, it's extraordinary. It's unique. And occasionally it's isolated. They examined the most accomplished males and females of the planet, and one of the elements they all possessed in similarity was a schedule. They are consumed with their schedule. They don't possess a gap of squandered time they would accept. You understand, I recognize the explanation why I'm so accomplished, and the explanation why I don't encounter difficulties like I utilized to when I was younger is because when I was younger, man, my schedule possessed so many gaps in it. The adversary had like acceptable, he might worship at 6 hours, but my man is observing television. He engaging in video games by 8:30. It's not that I'm superior than nobody. The adversary can't reach me because all my time is occupied. All right, let's be truthful. How many of you all arise and you simply get your day initiated? You don't possess it documented. You don't possess a tactic. You don't possess a genuine strategy. You kind of simply arise and declare, I'm about to confront today. Elevate your hand for me. Elevate your hand. We proceeding to halt. No more of that. Like you don't proceed to combat without a strategy. I require you to be tactical. I perceive, little child. I desire to proceed to the professional basketball league. Not like that. You simply sprinting up and down the arena. Not like that. You're not proceeding no tactic. I desire to proceed to the professional football league. You aren't even an institution. Negative. You're not proceeding to the professional football league. I desire to generate millions. You're not even executing what millionaires execute. And if those of you damaged up. Why? Because you don't comprehend. Contemplate, perform, consume, recuperate. We're discussing about a schedule. I recognize that my power is in my schedule. Why? Because I'm not as powerful as I believed I was. I'm not as brilliant as I believed I was. I don't desire it as intensely as I believed I desired it. It's in my schedule. It's what I execute every day repetitively. Discipline is discovered in our daily schedule, our daily practices. You may utilize discipline on occasion, but you're not disciplined. And there's a distinction between possessing discipline and being disciplined. When you possess discipline, you're choosy. When you possess discipline, you're circumstantial. It relies on how you sense. When you are disciplined, how you execute anything is how you execute everything. And everything you execute, you appear at 1,000%. The genetic code of your achievement is in your schedule. You're not as profound as you believe you are. You must discover a schedule. I'm arising at 3 and persist with it. I'm arising at 5 and persist with it. Affirmative. Out of 365 days, you proceeding to possess a difficult day or two. But I'm attempting to inform you the power is in the schedule. Discover a schedule and persist with it. A knowledgeable man once declared, overcome yourself. This is encompassed in commitment. We need to get committed. Overcome yourself. Once you've accessed those daily schedules, those daily practices that you remain devoted to, the competition's going to transform. The sole method you're going to get committed is if you eradicate all interruptions. Can you vanish for simply 30 days? And you must be so committed that every interruption gets obstructed out. You must discover how to deactivate your device, deactivate the innovation off when the presentation is finished, when the instant is concluded. You must discover how to eradicate all interruptions. You understand? We proceed through existence, observing existence at such a shallow level. But if I inquire you, are you experiencing your existence today at the complete capability that you believe you should experience? Are you genuinely content? Are you genuinely satisfied? So I awaken early in the morning. I awaken 4 in the morning. And the explanation why 4 hours in the morning is because, man, it's a challenge awakening at 4 hours in the morning. It's not, you understand, it's not simple, and I still desire to be tested. So it's consistently ascending that slope, ascending that peak every day. Progression by progression, we ascend the peak to the summit every day. I immerse my body in cold immersion right off the beginning within the initial 10 minutes when I awaken. Envision how unclear your brain is when you're awakening. You must activate that brain. And that's what Tony Robbins discussed about was your brain is a machine. You must activate it. How do you activate the brain? So the initial thing I execute is, I'm going to transform your physiology. I'm going to awaken that brain. Once I awaken the brain, I proceed, and I position in environment. You desire to position in environment because you desire to stabilize yourself. There's a vibration to environment, especially in the morning. There's a vibration in the morning. So why we engaging meditation early in the morning is because there's a different vibration in the morning. There's a different power in the morning. So you're capable to stabilize yourself a lot simpler in the morning. And also your brain, once you activate it, it's simply emerging out of the slumber mode, correct? So in the morning, our brain frequencies proceed slower. So you're capable to descend deeper in meditation. Accomplished individuals have dominated the skill of investing time isolated. They comprehend the power and the advantage positions. When I obtain time with myself, and I obtain in my head, and I obtain in my heart, and I comprehend my behaviors and my conviction structures and my boundaries and what I require to execute and how I require to plant and where I require to transmit my power and how I require to implement in the day. They comprehend it's a superpower when you invest that time isolated, and you can contemplate, and you can worship, and you can meditate, and everyone's not in your combination. You're capable to cultivate something that could abandon a heritage and influence the existences of millions of individuals. It's the millionaires and billionaires and six-figure generators, pioneers, pathfinders. These are the individuals that have invested time isolated contemplating about what it is they've been summoned to execute and how they're going to implement. They transferred in quietness. They contemplated isolated. They worshipped isolated simply for an instant, simply for a period. There is an inequitable advantage when I can obtain along with myself, and I can communicate to myself in the reflection and inform myself. Self. You possess tasks to execute self. You possess things to transform into. And so I must establish this structure, this base. I must obtain very transparent on my concept. Oftentimes, individuals will declare, don't simply position there. Execute something. Get out there and transform the planet. Don't simply execute something. Position there and contemplate. Get isolated with yourself. Get isolated with your contemplations. What are your powers? What are your vulnerabilities? Where are you failing? Where are you succeeding? Who do I require to transform into to accomplish what it is I've been fated to execute? One of the most underestimated superpowers on Earth is transferring in quietness.